Good morning, everybody. I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Do we want to do the boards and commissions update this week too, or?
It's an old one that let's say it's a new thing, and so.
Sure.
Like,
We'll get
we
it.
can see it next week.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll second.
Favor?
Um,
Meet with representatives from Dorsey and Whitney LLP regarding the EMS ballot language.
They are on, if they want to go ahead and unmute. Don, can you hear me?
Did it work?
Yep, here we hear you.
I can hear you now.
Very good. Yeah. Hi, this is John Danos and my colleague Emily Hammond. I don't know if you can also see Emily on the camera. We are bond lawyers with Dorsey and Whitney in Des Moines.
Chris, I'm sorry.
You're not.
Okay, we can't see you.
Yeah, John, you don't have your camera on, so they can't see you. And then I am not showing Emily on the meeting yet.
She's with me. We're on a speakerphone together. I may have just failed to. There we go.
There you
Hello. Here we are.
go. Okay, so you have our three board of supervisors, John Kurtz, our chair, Keith Wheeland, and Don Vogel. And then we also have Dan Walter here. He's the head of the Buchanan County EMS Association. And they are just looking for some clarification regarding the information you folks had shared with me regarding the ballot language.
How can we help?
This is John. Last November, when we had this on a ballot, we had it, the wording was that we would charge 75 cents per 1,000 of taxable valuation. And we should have had it say up to,
And not to exceed.
and give us the flexibility down the road to adjust it lower as needed. And that's one of the concerns that we have going into this next ballot measure.
Can you kind of speak to that up to maximum kind of conversation? Is that something we should put in the ballot language?
Well, should or shouldn't can stray, I think, over a little bit into policy. And Emily and we're not going to pretend that we know the Buchanan County policy better than you folks do. From a legal perspective, on the levy rate side of this, we do read the statute as allowing for you to put in a maximum levy rate that might be imposed from year to year, and then allow for budgetary conditions to determine whether you're needing to levy in a particular fiscal year up to that authorized maximum on the ballot. We've had, I would say, several, I'm looking at Emily to see if that's fair, clients that have just opted to go with the maximum allowed under the statute, and to set that as an outer limit on the levy rate to be imposed.
I have a
So
question.
if it's the levy rate max that you're asking about, I guess those are my thoughts on that. I don't know if that's helpful, but.
Okay, so if we would put, so this is Dawn Vogel, if we would put up to and not to exceed 0.75 cents, is that the right figure, Dan?
Yes.
Per thousand of taxable valuation, then we would be able to go up to the 75 cents with, or else we could also reduce it without having another vote to change that amount. I mean, what we don't want to do is have this as a ballot initiative every other year, because we're going to change that, potentially lower that amount.
That sounds reasonable to us.
I guess my other question was, in the correspondence that you had with Chris, you had made a statement that we should have a dollar figure on that ballot measure. And I'm kind of reluctant to have that. I'd rather just stay with the 75 cents per thousand limit. And I was really trying to understand why we would have to state an actual dollar amount, because that's gonna be fluid for every year. Based
Understood.
on the taxable valuation. So if you could, explain that a little more for us.
And to segue off what John said, there has been, how many, Dan, what's the figures on that? How many counties have passed this without a actual dollar figure on it?
21 have passed it, 4 had a dollar.
21 passed it and only 4 had a dollar figure. I think the dollar figure could be potentially very misleading.
Well, you've got access to better macro data than we do. My guess would be that the 4 that passed it, with at least 3 of those we worked with. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't see it as optional with the way the statute is written. It's certainly not Emily and I's idea. The law seems to require that you state on the ballot, quote, the amount of dollars that you're going to wind up yielding from the tax. So our legal advice would be, if you are worried about anybody looking at that language and potentially challenging the tax, we can't read the words out of the statute. So that's where that concept comes from in our legal advice, is from the statute itself and what the legislature seems to require with the ballot proposition. It is unique. I am unaware of any other property tax authorizing legislation that deals with this state the tax revenue yield amount on the ballot. But nonetheless, the sentence is in there. So do with that what you will. That's just, we have to give you the law as we read it.
Can I ask what sentence you're going off of? Like what word in
Yeah,
that
but
sentence?
Emily's got it.
Dealing with.
Just
Yeah,
project.
So in 422D5 speaks to if you're raising the funds through a property tax levy as opposed to the local income surtax. And it's toward the end of that provision. And it just says that the reason for imposing the tax and the amount needed as determined by the Board of Supervisors after the recommendation of the County Emergency Medical Services System Advisory Council shall be set out on the ballot. And then it goes on to say that the rate shall be set so as to raise only the amount needed.
Can I do something else in this conversation? Brad, can I have you put on your attorney hat and help me out with this?
Sure. Brad Blackmer, the mayor of Independence, and also an attorney in town. We interpret it a little bit differently. We interpret that to mean that when you say it's up to 75 cents, that accomplishes exactly what you're talking about. Usually on a ballot measure, like when the school board is going to ask for funding for a new school or whatever they're doing, they have a dollar amount in mind, a total dollar amount in mind. It's not like our situation here where we're going to be changing this. You know, the taxes are going to change over 10 years, over 15 years. And if you lock in a dollar amount now, you've locked in the dollar amount forever. You're unable to be in a position where you can change let's say property taxes go up by, 25% over a 15-year time period. Now, all of a sudden, your numbers are different in terms of you've got a cap on your number. Whereas if you just have up to 75 cents, you don't have a cap on it because it's fluid. The amount, it's fluid. It changes from year to year depending upon the amount of tax revenue that actually comes in. So that's why we interpret it different than that. We interpret it that you're complying when you use the up to the 75 cent number without using an actual dollar amount. The dollar amount just makes it too difficult, and it locks you in at something that you can't really do anything with in the future. And that means that so say the taxes go up in 10 years and you want to keep, you don't want to go back to the voters. Now, all of a sudden you're getting less money. You're not able to fund something that you had planned on funding based upon the 75 cents that we're looking at right now. Because the budget right now is based upon current dollar taxes coming in. It's not based upon what's going to happen in the future. That's just my opinion of it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think you explained that really well, and I'm curious to see what Mr. Donos has to say.
From a policy perspective, I have no argument whatsoever. We've scratched our heads at this provision since we first saw it in the law. My hesitation from a legal standpoint about that interpretation is the double use of the amount needed concept in that sentence that Emily read to you. The second clause that says that the actual levy rate from year to year is going to be fixed at an amount necessary to yield the amount needed suggests that those two concepts are intended to be separate on the ballot. Levy rate versus amount needed. Folks, all I can do, we're not going to resolve some kind of a legal debate. To my knowledge, this has not been tested in the courts. But we work with a lot of these statutes. We implement a lot of election proceedings, particularly for GO debt, out of our office. And authorizing other types of levies. I wish I could give you a different read on it because I don't think the language makes a lot of sense. And it certainly makes implementation less practical from year to year, less flexible from year to year. But that is the way we read the law. And
I guess not.
you're not going to hurt our feelings if you choose to roll out a ballot that doesn't include it because you don't think it's legally necessary. I won't think less of you.
I'm still of the same mind as you. 75 cents per thousand taxable, not to exceed 1.5 annually kind of conversation.
I'm not gonna do I'm not gonna put a cap on that.
Okay.
Like my intent was never to put a cap on it, was just up to 75 cents. Or
Thank you.
not to exceed it, up to 75 cents per thousand taxable valuation.
So leave the language the way we have.
Right, because I truly don't believe that was intended to be in there. If we're going to put it in there, what we would have to do is we would have to exaggerate that figure enough to try to come up with what that figure might be 10 years from now. So then you're going out to the taxpayers and you're deceiving them because you don't have the actual dollar amount. And I don't want to deceive my taxpayers.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And if in 2 years our valuations were to jump $2 million, that's going to have a huge impact on this levy. But if we're capped at a certain dollar figure, it doesn't help us. And how are you going to justify pay raises and cost and inflation on equipment and supplies for the ambulance? So I think leaving the dollar cap off there is the smart way to go. That's my opinion.
You guys also had a question regarding the assessed value on taxable value, that wording that's in there. You'd like to ask about that?
What is $2,000 of excess value of taxable valuation? Is that how that was pronounced?
Language.
The way you approve the resolution, it says up to 0.75 cents per 1,000 of assessed value on all taxable property within the county to be used for funding. And that was also the information that Mr. Danos and Emily had sent regarding the wording, and you guys weren't sure about that. So if you want to address that, so we know what we need to do.
We wanted to simplify it and say up to 75 cents on taxable valuation and get all the extra language out of there because it's just confusing to people. They look at their assessed value and it's nowhere near what the taxable value is. Does that make sense?
Sure, makes sense to me. The language that you originally reviewed should be safe from a legal perspective. It's a regurgitation of the statutory formula that the legislature included in the law. To the extent you choose to deviate from that, y'all are setting the ballot language. As lawyers, we tend to kind of hold on tight to what the legislature formulates because it, particularly when we don't have any case law interpretations from litigation and court decisions, the black letter of the legislative law is about what we've got to hold on to. So we do tend to stick close to that.
Thank you, John. Mr. Mayor, you got another question?
Sure, we may be saying the same thing, but so 422 D1A subpart 2 says assessed value on all taxable property within the county. That's the actual language of statute itself.
Right.
So he's giving you the advice, but you know, you want to follow the code whenever you can in terms of exactly what it's saying, but not deviate from that. I'd be concerned.
And that does go back to what his original recommendation was.
Yes, and you guys questioned having the assessed value in the language. That's why I brought it up for you guys to clarify.
The taxable value language in that is just confusing, in my opinion, to the layperson and the voters. But
Can we read off what we have again, the whole thing?
Shall the Buchanan County Board of Supervisors be authorized to impose an ad valorem property tax for the purpose of creation of maintenance of stable revenue stream for its essential community EMS services and Buchanan County ambulance service in the amount of up to 0.75 per thousand.
Can we stop right there? I would like to add up to and not to exceed. So, because then that clarifies that not to exceed is not going to go above this amount.
above the
To that-
The 7.5's in code, isn't it?
Right, but people don't understand. They're not going to stop and read the code. So
Okay,
if we put up to and not to exceed 0.75 cents per thousand.
I think that makes sense.
Neither here nor there. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
per 1,000 of assessed value on all taxable property within the county to be used for funding of emergency medical services for a maximum period of 15 years, question mark.
Has there been any case law to refute this language? I mean, has anybody had any trouble with the language that we have here?
Would that be 15 years? Could it be?
Was that for us? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm not aware of any court decisions that we've got interpreting this statute or or any election related ballot formulation questions that have reached the appellate courts.
None in any direction on any topics, it sounds like, on this aspect.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
John, this is Brad Blegner. Are you aware of any lower courts that have even had this come before them yet on any of the language? I know it hasn't gone up to a higher court, but what about lower court decisions? Have you heard anything about that at all?
Shaking said no.
Okay.
I have not. I'm looking at Emily.
I haven't, I'm not aware of any.
A question on the timeframe.
I was just wondering if it had to be 15.
The statute allows up to 15 years.
So
without-
because it's going to maximum amount.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a sunshine at 15 years and then it has to be back on ballot again to renew it. And I think there is the ability possibly to go a shorter time frame, but we haven't seen any counties do that.
But in this way, with the up to and not to exceed, this way we can, as time goes on and we get revenues and potentially lower that dollar amount to where, you know, we're only asking for what is needed each year to fund that service or to prop it up. I mean, with an ambulance service, you're never, ever gonna come out, it's never gonna break even, but the intent is to fund it or to prop it up with the least amount of public funds as possible.
We'd love to see it be self-supported, but
Actually, it's
that could be challenging.
a goal.
So we have the one change proposed for the
So
ballot.
what you will have to do is you'll have to rescind resolution 2564 that you passed 2 weeks ago. And I will have to redo the ballot language with the resolution. And then I guess it's up to you guys if you want me to send it back down to Mr. Danos to review, because it kind of sounds like you're going to exclude the dollar amount that they recommended. So it'd be kind of a waste of taxpayers' money
To
send it back down to him, but that's truly the Board of Supervisors' decision.
I would make a motion to rescind resolution 2564 and not to send it back to Mr. Daniels and to include the words and not to exceed in the language that we had.
How does that fit with your timelines, Chris? Are we behind on the language that you need for the ballots or? we still
No, I believe
in line?
I believe the deadline is September 15th.
Okay. I'll second that.
Want that as a roll call?
Yes, please.
Kurt's aye.
Wheel I.
Vogel, line.
Thank you. Mr. Donis, thank you, Emily, for participating. We appreciate it.
You bet. Good luck. Have a
Thank
good
you.
process.
Thank you.
Be well. Bye-bye.
Next on the agenda, approve the minutes of the August 11th, 2025 regular meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Approve the employee claims filed with County Auditor for $521.71.
I'll make the motion.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next, approve the monthly employee health insurance report. We're at 2,000,005 right now, so it looks very good.
I'll make the motion.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Accept the resignation of Darrell Brunko from the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Do we have any applications still for P and Z?
I do not know off the top of my head. I'd have to look. I do believe if we looked back in the minutes, there was a couple of them that had applied for that position.
But they weren't around, they weren't, if I remember right, they weren't in the area that we're trying to cover. We're trying to get representatives from each kind of part of the county.
If I recall, it was from the other applicant was from the Winthrop area.
And that's, and you already have
Right.
coverage up in that area.
Yeah, thanks for answering.
And Mr. Brunko lived where?
Rowley?
Brandon?
I have a couple people down in the Brandon area I can potentially call and ask. If
Okay.
the board would like
Thank
to
you.
do that.
Yep, that'd be great. Okay, next, items for discussion, place on file the following manure management plans, Dolan Finisher, Middlefield Township, section 25. C&K Pork Incorporated, Madison Township, section 25. Al Francis, Middlefield Township, section 9. Andy Krempges, Washington Township, section 11.
So moved.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right. Discuss the interior door at the Clerk of Courts Office. They're wanting to add some more security on this and yes, Jason, do you want to give us a little rundown on the details of this? Yes, after over 100 years, we gotta do something.
Something like that.
Yep.
All right, proposed amount.
So this is just as door access.
Yeah, if you turn to the second page where it has an image of the actual door, I use permanent marker to show where the badge reader would be. They put this door in, I don't know, a few months ago, to kind of separate between the main office and the front counter. And they're using a physical key right now for that door. They'd like a badge reader, so it'd be easily accessible for the staff and attorneys and whoever else needs to go through there, instead of having that physical key for everyone. The proposed amount from Hawkeye Alarm is the first page, which is $2,638. And you'll see that it says kind of the middle door access control revised. They did a quote on this a while ago, just kind of by email with pictures. So when they had the text out the last time, they got us a more accurate quote. That's what it says revised. So this is from them being on site, looking at it, knowing the scope of work. And since this is a courthouse security component, that would fall on the county to pay for, if approved.
And Hawkeye is our current alarm company that we use for all of our alarms here.
The badge reading, yeah.
Yeah.
For the courthouse.
There's enough room on that frame or door for hardware.
They believe so, yes. Yeah. At the hollow frame, so they can just cut in and run whatever they need.
Essentially, it's gonna cost us $2,638
Correct,
as opposed to the keys that they're using now.
correct.
What are the other options we kind of looked at, and how did we come across this option?
The door itself wasn't discussed too much with us per se. They wanted something other than having nothing at the time.
Yeah, I can see where it's kind of a blind spot for them.
Yeah, the public would come in and they could just walk right around the counter and get into the back where all the desks and everything were at. So I believe they paid for that construction to put the door in, and it's a temporary style and placement. It's not permanent affixed to the building. And this is a convenience upgrade request.
I'm sitting here thinking we have an auditor's office when people can come in the front door and they can go right around the corner. And we have other offices like that, so I'm a little confused as to.
Additional security.
Right.
They also deal with a lot more unhappy people than some of the other offices in the courthouse.
Read that. I would entertain a motion to proceed. Somebody would like to propose that.
This is just merely convenience.
And security.
Scott, do you have anything on this?
I don't know if we would have, like, the sheriff's office would be able to have access to those. I mean, right now, the sheriff's office has, or law enforcement has no access to get behind this door if they needed to be behind it. I don't know if that's a possibility, if they do get a card reader, that we would have that access without everybody getting a physical key to get into it. You can try to jump the counter or whatever, but I could see that just being an asset to law enforcement if they needed, if somebody did get behind there or whatever the circumstances were, we needed to be behind there, our EMS or whatever, law enforcement could gain access to that area.
That would be as simple as just adding fob access to your phone. So you currently have there.
It's existing. How much do they do? It's only 2 months old. How much did it cost?
The door itself,
Yeah, I just wanted
the door itself, I'm not sure the state paid for that.
to state.
Yeah, the state paid for the door itself.
I just wondered how much it would cost.
Yeah, I'd guess under 1,500, somewhere in there. But yeah, the state paid for all that.
So the box will be more to do.
My best guess.
And do we have like a maintenance contract with this one? Is it gonna be an ongoing cost or is it?
No, it's a one-time cost. Yep. They're the same company that did the locks on the second floor new door. And they're the same company that does a lot of the badge readers for the SO and whatnot.
Didn't they do the county
Public
attorney's office recently, like maybe a year or 2
Correct.
years, maybe it's been.
Your thoughts, Keith?
No,
Yeah, public health, EOC.
But you might be, if we're gonna spend the money on it, you might be able to do a little better. To get them all more secure. But I don't know if this is just a stopgap or, you know, that type of conversation, if we're looking to give them more security. That's my initial thoughts.
I think it's more of a deterrent.
Yeah.
Factor. Just to give them a little more comfort factor to.
and the door was, I mean, what they had before was,
Just a gate.
well, they had a little fabric
Yeah,
thing to, you know, hold across that. Somebody that wasn't upset or didn't want back there, they knew where the boundary was.
And this would give your guys access and EMS access if something.
Right now, we have no, I mean, we can get in the front door if they're open, but as far as I know, we don't have any access to getting through that secondary door.
And the funding would come out of general fund? Do we have the money in a line item for it? What would we have to do?
If it's over 2,000, it can go under the capital projects line that you guys budgeted funds for improvements throughout the courthouse.
I assume the exit knob, it's just a turnstile, so it'll bypass the locket on an exit.
correct.
I make a motion to approve the Buckeye alarm bid and work for the door access.
My second.
Thank you. All in favor? Or do you want to roll call on this one?
No, we don't need a roll
All
call.
in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Thanks, Jason.
You bet. Thanks for the.
Good job, Jason.
Okay. Next, discussion on EMS flyers.
This is me.
Yeah.
So the other night when I, kind of tuned in listening to Dan speak at the Independent City Council meeting, and I just kind of raised a red flag that the EMS Association is either obviously doesn't have much for funds, but trying to promote this levy that the Board of Supervisors tax them with. They're paying for these flyers out of basically their own pockets. So my question was there a way that the county could possibly reimburse them for this expense? So I sent the information to Dan, and then we in turn sent it to Assistant County Attorney Josh White. And Dan was absolutely correct. From their interpretation of the code, it would fall under the use of public money being spent for a political purpose, which includes the passage of a ballot issue, so it's prohibited. So unfortunately, these volunteers are now tasked with the expenditures of putting together all the flyers unless they gather donations for this expense.
I was afraid that was how it was gonna come out, because last year when we had this ballot issue, I was chastised by several people that I was advocating too much on behalf of the EMS Association by attending all the town halls and other things, so I kind of stepped away a little bit on that and let them do their thing, but, there is a real fine line about using in county, good services, I guess.
Yeah, it's Iowa Code 68A.505. So
But I think it was a great offer. And I'm sure the EMS Association is welcoming any donations that would come their way to help fund those things.
We're happy to do it for the benefit, if this passes, far exceeds the cost that we're putting into it, so.
Are you guys keeping kind of like a cost of what personally putting into it?
The association itself, yes, did be in our minutes, but each person individually, no.
No.
Each person's donating, like, if I'm printing out flyers, I'm not keeping track of how much it costs for me to print flyers. theirs. But mainly because I personally am not concerned with like the cost of it, because again, I just want to make sure it all goes smooth come November.
Is there a way to maybe keep track of that? And if you do get donations, that can be reimbursed on the backside? If, you know, if you have like a bill or whatever for paper printing process or whatever, is there a way to track that through the EMS Association of personal costs, or is that something that?
I think it would get kind of sticky because you'd be reimbursing a person. It was not the association fronting the money, it's the person donating it. And so you'd be reimbursing a person through donated funds to the association. It'd have to be the association fronting the money, and then the association would get the donation if you're talking about a reimbursement.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents.
The association 501c corporation, so it's tax, I don't,
Yeah, it's a 501c3.
if that's allowed anymore, I'm not sure. It's still a tax write-up.
So we're just happy to, I mean, it is nice to get donations to the EMS Association, but I don't think you're gonna hear anybody gripe about not, or about having to front money to print flyers and get a banner or something like that. Just so again, we know it's needed. We'd rather see the benefit on the long end than the cost in the short term.
You still have the signs.
Yes, I mean, we got 150 some signs, but obviously we didn't get all those back. I think we have probably close to 80, 90. I don't have an exact count. So we'll have to get some more signs here soon.
Do you have liars?
Determine if we want to. What's that?
Do you have liars?
The stand, the
Those
stand.
stakes. Yes, each sign we have has a stake with it. So yeah.
Well, I certainly appreciate
Pay for effort.
our auditor bringing that up and at least discussing it as a possibility, but they're restricted, so. Next, we need to go to setting public hearings for the zoning requests.
Okay, we had received requests for zoning to zoning, preliminary subdivision, the resolutions are in your folder. And then setting a public hearing for the first reading for the county comprehensive land use plan. So the dates I've set is for the Raver rezoning, September 8th at 9:15. Dean Fry, September 8th at 9:20, unless you think we need more time on any of those.
No.
What was the first date on Raver?
September, Jonas Raver, September 8th, 9:15. Dean Fry, September 8th, 9:20. Preliminary subdivision, September 8th, 9:25. Wait, that work? Okay. And then we're gonna roll into the reading of the comprehensive land use plan. That one could require up to 3 public hearings, so I have those set for September 8th at 9:30. September 15th, 9:20. September 22nd, 9:20.
And are we gonna read the whole thing, or are we gonna break that apart into, how are we gonna do that?
If it was okay with you guys, I would just go through the changes. Which it's just basically, we updated all of the census data that was in the current comp plan. And then we've updated the maps to correlate with the changes within the county. Any verbiage has not changed. So it's just strictly just the US Census data and the maps that we've updated.
I think going through just changes would be a lot less time consuming.
It might be a lot less time consuming, but maybe we need to actually read the ordinance in its entirety.
Do we have yeah, that's a great point. Too. Responsibility.
It's like 100 and some odd pages.
And you wanna read the whole thing publicly?
Oh, no, I'm
Chairman for that.
I,
I'll do it.
John, you have such a nice voice. You must read bedtime stories to your children.
All the PNC looked at and approved was just the census data and the maps. You didn't go through any of the verbiage to update or change any of that. Whatever you guys decide, well,
I guess probably what you could look at is you could go through the changes and then at one of the next hearings, if you felt the need to go through the whole thing, you could do so at that time if you chose to.
I guess I would kind of like to break it apart into sections also that we're kind of aware of what's in there as far as the current verbiage, because Keith, I don't know, I read it once a long time ago, but I can't remember the current
It
verbiage.
takes a while.
And it's not like this little dry.
If we break it up into 3 different meetings, that seems like we're breaking up 3 different meetings. It doesn't feel like we're actually providing all of the changes in one particular meeting and then repeating that process 3 times.
correct.
So it seems like we should identify all of the changes in each meeting and then start from there.
Oh, 100%
Yeah.
identify all the changes in each reading.
Okay,
That's
so that makes
required.
sense.
Yeah.
Right, that would be required.
So not to break up individual changes and individual meetings, but
Right, no, I mean, all the changes, but I mean, the current verbiage too, I mean, we need to make sure that we're okay with the current verbiage, because this sets it for the next 5 or however many years.
We've talked about updating it just annually, just to making sure that we're always constant with the updated and laws, information, and codes and that kind of stuff. So that's something that the P and Z has discussed. It's just updating it once a year.
John, may I make a suggestion?
Sure, thank you.
One of the things that we've seen done in the past with these is that you have your county attorney's office review the language to make sure there's not other changes that you feel is necessary to be made. And then you just do the changes, you just talk about the changes themselves. And the county attorney indicates that there are any questions about the specifics of something, then they can then answer the question because they've had an opportunity to review it, in real time as opposed to what they did in the past as well. So just a suggestion.
We presented that to my attorney's office, yeah.
We have
is that enough time for him to review?
Absolutely not.
I would say no.
Leave
I
behind.
No, you'll have to push it back to at least probably October,
That's all.
if that's the route you want to go.
Hate to give him a hard deadline if he hasn't had a chance to look at it.
The other thing is, if we're not changing a lot of verbiage or anything in it, is it really necessary to have the attorney look at it?
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. I believe so. Wholeheartedly.
John, one more suggestion is that perhaps if there's not enough time here, when you approve it conditioned upon the review by the county attorney's office in the future. And that way you're covering your bases. You're not locking yourself in for a longer time period. That you're stuck with the exact language that you have, but you've done it in a way that allows them time to review it and let you know.
It's through contingent upon the county attorney's approval.
Yes.
Thank you.
I guess I feel like we need some time to look into maybe what some of the other communities have done and some of the new legislation that's come down. To make sure that that matches up with the comprehensive land use plan.
Yeah, at least 7 of our 10 intercog counties have been redoing their land use plans this year, so.
And I'm not necessarily a big intercog fan, to put it out there. I've seen some of their work and they've gotten the county wrong. And some of it, like they use a template and a boilerplate template and
Yeah, that's fine.
so
I appreciate
just double check them.
Hunt,
What are we doing?
That's a little longer time frame. Like maybe the 15th, 22nd, and then the one after that.
So are you gonna have the county attorney review it before you do the public hearings?
I would say contingent upon review of have it approved contingent upon the review
Okay, and that makes perfect sense, but if he gets it and has some minor changes, you're doing 3 more public hearings.
You know what? And
I'm
then
just
after
trying to
the
avoid
3
double
more
work.
readings, that, right, it costs us 3 more, it costs us more money in the newspaper. If we're gonna have him review it, let's give him time to review it.
That's it. Bring up this discussion in another couple of weeks, let them do a preliminary review and figure out what dates we need to set after that.
I would probably give him more than 2 weeks.
I would give him a month.
As a preliminary review, not the total review.
No, because he has 100 and some odd pages of reading that he'll have to do. And I mean, he'll have the changes, but at the same point in time, we need to make sure that we're covering all of our, like the new legislation that's been brought into effect by our state legislators. And make sure that is part of, to make sure we don't have any conflicts.
I give them just a little brief of what the zoning commission recommended for changes.
It was just strictly the census data, which is pulled from the US Census Bureau. Then again, just the maps were updated by Evan. As far as any verbiage, I mean, that was originally drafted with Intercog in 2006, so that's why we didn't change any of it.
Which doesn't include any statute changes, so that's kind of the concern. there.
Correct.
As far as
It's just,
Legal
yeah.
review.
it's just kind of more on the lines, outlines, you know, agricultural uses, residential, commercial, and that kind of stuff. It's not like there's a whole lot of,
There's not a lot of reference to individual ordinances or anything like that.
correct, well, I mean, it does reference our zoning ordinance. I know that it mentions Iowa code, a few times in there too, but
But did we change any of the growth, future growth potential in the county, like the interchange down by Brandon and that type of stuff? Because I think the land use plans, don't they usually have some kind of growth, potential growth?
we did update the zoning districts, but we did not put together a future growth map. But we do have like the future population and those kind of projections for the future, but map wise, we didn't draft anything. So,
Well, how about this? I'll make a motion to approve the time and dates that the zoning request changes that Chris suggested. The 9/8, the 8th of September at 9:15, 20 and 25. And then at least we can get that part
But if,
ironed out.
and I understand what you're saying, Keith. At the same point in time, if we do that and then we'll kick it up to Sean and Sean says, the county attorney's office says, well, no, this needs to be added or this needs to be done, then we approve the changes.
I think you're confusing his motion. He's motioning for the zoning requests.
Oh, just the
That
zoning
were-
request.
yes.
Oh, just the three
Yeah,
zones.
you're
Oh,
confusing.
Yep, you're right, I am. No, I was second the motion then.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Would it make sense to delay the approval of the comp plan till November and give the county attorney's office some time to look over the changes and
Yes,
get their official approval
absolutely.
prior?
Right.
So could I have a motion to do that?
I'll make that motion.
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Okay. Does that make it a little easier?
Sure, clear smart, I got it.
Thank you. Okay, next, discuss the transfer of assets to MHDS of it. Oh my goodness, ECR DAP rent revised 28E for MHDS of the ECR. My goodness gracious, a lot of acronyms there.
Are there any changes since last we talked? I mean,
It changes every day.
It does, you're right. So I wanted to come just for the formal, we're looking at getting, most of the counties have transferred the titles of their card. Just needed a formal approval to do that and the other assets. We have 2 other individuals working here. And so they don't have a car to be able to drive with the closure of some counties and everybody's shifting around. And then the cars are all insured through the district, or the district, yes, the disability access point. And so our financial, manager has a process that he sent, but I wanted to get it on the board agenda first before sending it over to Chris.
So the DAP now is carrying the insurance on those?
That's carrying insurance.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, so we are still paying premium on them, so I will contact Mr. Evers and have them drop.
They just started, but when it's still in the county, I wasn't sure because it's in the county and we paid for a year's worth. We paid in December for this full calendar year.
So these cars are now double covered?
Until we drop the coverage. But we paid the full premium. Yeah. I mean, we paid the premium for 1 year on it. Then I looked back, we paid the premium in December. The DAP just got the coverage in place. And so we need to get it.
Did we have any vehicles moving into our county or out of our county? Or, I mean, do we need to do a comparison of VINs to make sure that we're doubled up on our policies? I don't think we had any assets coming in or out of the county or your
We're
part.
going from the
As
county
part of
to
the
the,
fixed asset process, we will have to do delete sheets and those assets of those two vehicles will be removed from our inventory. That's just the two vehicles, the two Traverses. No, what are they? Traverses? Equinox.
Equinoxes.
Equinox. And that's a process that the auditor's office takes care of.
Do you need us to vote today to drop the insurance or?
No,
Okay.
You can
that
just
can
drop it
happen.
once it's,
yeah.
So,
and even though it's in the county's name, I wasn't sure with it being in the county's name, whether, I mean, the regional insurance will kick in as soon as but if you think it's good now, as long as the district is paying for it, then we can quit.
How does the title change happen? Is that something that we?
I have the process to send,
Okay, so that's something on your side, our support for that.
so,
and I'm not involved in it. It's done by the fiscal people.
so we'll take the Equinoxes out of the county's name and put them into the disability access point. And then moving ahead, is there anything else that needs to be transferred?
It would be any of the assets, so like our, the desks, things like that. And computers, I hate to transfer since still county employees. At some point, I think those will,
So were your guys' computers, were those all paid for by the region?
So let's transfer them.
since I started, we have always paid all of our own. Jason never budgeted for them. We always budgeted,
Yep.
and then the region reimbursed.
From a different
Okay.
fund?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and transfer them too, because that makes it nice and clean.
Okay.
So basically, and I've reached out to other counties because this has all been so fun for everyone.
Right.
Absolutely every asset they have that was purchased by the region needs to be transferred. We have it on record as an asset if it was over $1,000. Those all need to be dropped from Buchanan County because they're no longer ours.
Okay. And
So we can do those. We
Yep.
have a list
So-
of that. We can do
So we need delete sheets for
for
everything.
all of those.
Can you send us that list of assets, just to make sure that there's some additional documentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I think I provided it at one time, but I will again. And there's one that was added because my computer took a,
the auditor's office keeps track of all those assets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, us having a list is just, it's gonna be informative only,
Yeah.
because there's nothing we can do with it.
That's the point of it.
Okay, my segue off of this is then if, so looking forward into the future, if you need technical assistance, does IT bill you then for their time, or how does this work since it's a disability access point?
I believe it's built into that's the next thing on my list was the rent. The IT is built into the indirect cost.
And what was the decision on the rent?
That's what I needed to know so we can get an MOU.
Okay,
So, Cassie does the indirect.
I believe at one point
I thought we already
Sorry.
had
had
checked that one.
approved only $500.
No,
Yes.
okay, no.
I don't think anything was ever formally approved, which is why I put it back on the
Right.
agenda.
So what are you currently paying for? What are you currently paying?
We-
No,
the region did it's about 28,000 a year for the indirects.
And so,
And so that was for the larger office area. So we
Mhm.
talked about reducing because Tracy and Patty are both gone.
right, and so we have about half the office space right now,
2/3.
2/3. So let's take the 28,000, divide it by Let's get up to two,
do 2/3 of the 20. That's what you had
2/3.
talked about, but there were,
2/3.
I don't remember there ever
dollar
being.
amount, and then let's make a motion and let's get this behind us, because we talked about this several times now.
And that would
Look up what
include,
our discussion was at one point. I mean, you guys should go ahead and keep talking. I'm just,
yeah, I don't remember there ever being an actual motion.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'm a words person, not a numbers
I
person.
hear you.
Mm.
So 2/3 of 28,000 is 18,666, so.
It's about
18,500.
1,500
18.
a month, thereabouts.
Well.
So we'll make sure there wasn't a previous motion. That's what I was remembering. but-
It's logical.
And so then that includes things such as maintenance and auditors for payments and what's that? It's gonna have to go up. We can start doing our own if you want us to.
I mean, just kind of following that rounding down process, it's about 1525 a month.
Get that in a motion.
John?
Yes.
Just, you probably already know this, but when you're taking the vehicles off, even if you paid the premium for the entire year, you're still entitled to be refunded premium going back to the date that you actually take it off the policy.
Oh,
correct. We will get a refund on it.
Okay, just
thank you.
Yep.
Refunds are always good.
But that would be a refund that would go back to the region because it got paid out of that fund.
So
1525 for rent and IT services.
Okay,
Is there
so
anything else?
at like the second week in June, there was discussion regarding the rent, and there was no action until rent figures were available. And
Did you look at the other options available to you, like mental health institute and the other locations?
Honestly, had not pursued that yet. I've had too many other things.
well, Doc, you had that office space. You had that information and you presented it to the board.
Yeah.
It was like 1,300 a month or something like that for the space down there.
yeah, something. I mean, this,
No, it was the market value that you had brought, which I think was a lot more than 1,300 a month, but I'm not sure. That's how we kind of left it as nothing. If we would look at office space someplace else, it would require moving all of our everything. And from my feeling from the board was that you didn't have another use for that office, which is why I didn't really pursue any other office space.
this way, that space is actually making us money as a county instead of just sitting there wasting space.
Well, and
If you needed it for some other department, that would make sense, but
remember, these are all services to our citizens. And having it more of a one-stop shop is, I think, more important
Yes.
than farmed out, whether it's MHI next year to be gone.
Having access to the IT support that's right around the corner, almost literally.
Yep.
So two.
as long as we're county employees, yes.
Can you make the motion?
1525 a month. Thank you for all my little notes here. I'll see over here. Is
It off 1,600.
that okay with you? 1,600 a month? We'll make the motion for 1,600 a month, including rents and IT services.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Okay.
And just to clarify, it includes more than just IT. It's all of the
Yeah.
indirect costs that are
Sure.
built into it. So
So, and that including,
Lights.
the electrical, the internet, obviously the heat.
Yes.
What about the lease for the copier? Because
we
that's,
pay that directly
okay, all right.
and we pay phone directly. I don't know if internet's built in, probably not. I don't know that they can divide. I think that was always built into the indirect, but we directly pay
Yes.
phone. We've always kept it's always been separate because MHDD dollars were separate from the general fund.
So is that bill, only because I'm asking because I do not know, so that bill's going directly to you guys now and DAP's paying that directly, or is it coming in?
It's coming
Like
in
it has in
however
the
it
past.
used to, but we asked them to divide it and we discontinued some of the lines.
Oh, okay.
And then we asked them to divide out the lines. We talked with Jason about how to know. They still haven't figured out how to do the long distance, I don't think. It's still coming as a lump. But then we asked them to divide like our lines separate. What we didn't realize is that every phone was getting charged, where it used to be we got charged per line. So we got rid of phones, which are how they're charged now. And so we are paying for the phones that we have, and then Patty pays her phone. We couldn't divide the phone number at this point, so we just look to see who we think's calling and pick up. So,
A motion on the floor? And a second? And
I think we voted.
you already voted.
all right,
I just clarified after.
thank you.
Last thing I have is the 2080. I am going to be making trips to all of the counties, the 14 counties in our district, inviting them to be a party to the 28E. I thought since I was already coming, I would do my initial spiel with you guys. Some of the things, and Dawn was at the meeting where we revised the 2080. It has gone to Josh. He said he doesn't think it places the county in jeopardy, but he did recommend that there be a liability waiver. So our regional attorney asked if he would draw up what he meant, because he also said about the term and termination section being a little wonky. So we're waiting on that to come back. I think the term section is probably a little wonky because it's a revised 2080, where it's not like starting new with the 2080. So the 28E is remaining in place even though the region is gone. At one point, the 2080 was synonymous with the region. It is no longer synonymous. Now the 28E is the entity, which is the Mental Health and Disability Services of the East Central Region, Disability Access Point. It will change to Eastern Iowa Disability Alliance, which will be a lot shorter for you instead of that long.
Sure.
So the 28E is now an entity which has a contract with the state for the DAP. The code does not require a governing board for the disability access point. So the governing board is more for the entity which has the contract. And so the management of the disability access point is completely different than the region. There's not the ability, we're not overseeing the mental health and disability services. We are providing a service to the residents in all 14 counties, and that service is service navigation and information assistance. And so this 2080 is different than the previous one because it's more the entity that it's overseeing, but we still see value with governing board members because you are responsible and you do care about the citizens of your county and can provide good insight into the needs in the county. And also, so the governing board will not be able to say, we want to fund startup costs for a service. That ability is not there. The funds are, it's very much designated where the money goes. But what the governing board can do is have impact in how staff is organized, how contracting, those types of things are done. And so there's definitely, and providing input on the needs in each county. So I know until you have the final, you probably don't want to make a decision, but I just wanted to bring it up now because I am going to go around to all of the other entities and see if or all the other counties and see if you have any questions about.
So the individual access points still all report to the one region or our region.
So the disability access point is us as 14 counties. And then there are hubs within that. And so we have the hubs, one of which is our hub. But as the disability access point, we are responsible for 14 counties. And so the point doesn't mean our office. And so, yes, all 4 of the hubs and all of the staff all report to the one disability access point. So there's 4 disability access points across the state. And we are the largest. Any other questions on the, I did bring some information that talks about a little bit about the disability access point and the,
So my my thought is if our attorney's office is having a problem with the 2080 agreement with those two things, maybe if we get that done before you send it out, it'd be better. I'm just, because the other attorneys might have that same question.
I've not heard from any other attorney.
Okay.
But it will be, so it was sent to all counties for review after our meeting. And, we offered any suggestions. And then the regional attorney didn't want to look at it until after, we did revisions. So I'd sent it to him and not heard back. So then I talked with him last week. And, he had a few minor revisions, more like taking out specific code sections that were no longer relevant and just saying by law, that kind of stuff. And then he was open to what Josh thought, he, would protect the county more, but he wanted to see more, have Josh write up what he was thinking. So other than that, I've not heard back from any other.
And I want to follow up with Josh too.
I just sent it back to him.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And told him that we have our meeting next week and that things get sent out this Thursday, but if we don't have it by this Thursday, as long as we have it by next Thursday, we'll be okay, because should vote on it next Thursday.
And when is our next meeting?
It is next week, Thursday, the 28th.
And this is the DAP or it's the region?
It's the Mental Health and Disability Services of the East Central Region DAP. So it's kind of the entity, the meeting, it covers both the region and the DAP. So right now, until this 2080 is signed, and it's still the same board, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
It's the current board until the revised 2080 is approved, which specifies a new board.
Okay.
Yep.
That is at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Amen.
Yep. So the new 2080 will change the name of the entity and will also change the board composition away from what was required by code and into what the members that went to the Board of Supervisor members who went to the meeting suggested for board composition. And that board composition is a member of each Board of Supervisors that is a party to the 2080, and one or two individuals with lived experience. So that would be, and the one or two was to make it an odd number. So it's primarily boards of supervisors now who would be on the governing board, back to the way it was with the region when we first became a region.
Which is how it should.
And then it changed with code section, and we had a bunch of other entities on the board.
What is the new name going to be again?
Eastern Iowa Disability Alliance.
It's much easier.
It is. Buchanan County was not part of the region when they came up with the name, because it's a mouthful. Any other questions?
There's gonna be a ton, I'm sure.
What's that?
There's gonna be a ton, I'm sure.
Well, if you have questions, just yell. I'm around in meetings a
What
lot,
about
but
the
I'm around.
removal of the, Buchanan County on the vehicles? Does that stay on, or does it go, means we no longer own
I
them?
think it would go, wouldn't it?
Okay,
And I don't know, how do we? I thought about that at one point. I didn't think about it today, wondering how did those come off?
Trying to transfer the titles.
No, the stickers,
Just details.
the
Oh,
decals.
good luck with that.
Yeah, we ran into that on the.
I remember that discussion but maybe they haven't been on as long. 5 years? How long was the other one?
I think the big.
No, the other one was longer, because that used to be ours.
I think some of the problem was they didn't want to damage the car they're selling, like
We
they
don't-
advertise the car, see then if some of the damage was done, scratching of the paint or whatever, removing it.
I think Deputy Hartman had said that he thought that he could probably maybe get it all, but he needed perhaps a buffer and some of the right.
I'll use it. So.
yeah, he was
Heat gun.
concerned with getting into the clear coat.
So who was doing the
Two
removal?
cars.
Who would you recommend we talk to about?
Signs and More was one group that offered it. I didn't get a chance to talk to Hilltop, but they might do it as well.
Okay. Okay,
Originally Deputy Hartman started on the public health one. It was so sun-baked on, he didn't feel comfortable trying to get it off without damaging the clear coat. It could be something he could do, possibly. He would have to look at it, otherwise, that
sounds
sounds like
in
sites.
so I think those were probably more like 15 years on there. And
The
these,
former public health cards, yeah, because what was that, like a 2010? 11?
cause I was thinking, yeah, cause we had gotten that and that was a long time ago. We can do it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks for the update.
And just one more thing on that. So does that title actually transfer then to them? And but do we get a copy of the insurance until that transfer is done? Let's say it's been used, it's in
Right, because it's in the
It's
county's,
insured by both the county and.
but it's in
we
the
can drop
county's
the
name,
insurance.
so it wasn't, that's why I wasn't sure about dropping the insurance.
How long it will
Do you
take?
have the titles or are they back in the filing cabinet?
That I don't know. I'll ask Julie.
Okay.
Because it takes, once the title is signed, then, and has the other entity in it, then it's officially the other entity, right? Okay. Because our fiscal people are not wanting us to drive them until it's back from the state. And I'm not, the title gets back and I'm not sure.
But they have to have the title first.
Right, but then it's like about a month wait in between there to get it back.
Yes, it's not a fast process when it's sent down.
But normally when you buy a car, once this title's signed over, it's yours,
Right.
right?
So
Yeah,
once we get
okay.
that title signed over, then.
Then
Utility
it's,
Act at that point has it, and it's their insurance.
it's the insurance, right?
I think until that title gets signed, though, I think we just need to keep insurance on it. At our level, yeah.
Paper to,
I could maybe help with on the insurance thing. If you decide that if they've got insurance that's in effect, but you've got insurance as well, what you could do is have them list the county as an additional insured on their policy immediately. That protects you, so you can take the insurance off because they're already covering the vehicle, and it allows you to cover your premium back.
That's a great idea, Brett.
but if we're doing the transfer of the title,
If I have the title back there, I need to go and look. I mean, because.
and I'll have Julie
There's all
look, cause
kinds of
she'll know
titles
where
back
it
there.
is, if we have it. Because,
Because all that needs to be done is I need to sign it over to DAP and it's all yours.
Right.
And insurance can be dropped because we're done.
that's what I thought, then we can, and so we don't have to go through the process of getting the county on, because once it's signed,
Yeah.
then it's done.
And that'll be-
That's what I thought.
yeah, that can be done today.
That might get you in the vehicles quicker too.
Okay, I'll go
Plates will have
downstairs.
to be pulled.
And some of the others, they said because they're state plates, they left them, but we can pull them and see what,
That's a treasure
There's-
question.
They're going to be, those plates are going to be registered to Buchanan County though.
But I think once the title changes, then the registration changes. Well,
Then they'll get new plates.
Do you guys
Yeah.
get official Iowa plates or do they?
Yes, that's what's on them.
the county or whatever the state plates are. I just know in some of the counties, they didn't switch it, but we're happy to talk with the treasurer's office and see. They're actually handling it all through Johnson, the treasurer. Because we split up who's doing what, but does it need to go to, I'll talk to the person who's handling all of them.
because if I was to sell my vehicle to Keith, per se, I would have to pull those.
Right.
those Plates, and
Right.
take those plates and turn them into the treasurer's office, and Keith would have to get new plates.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the state plates do not get turned into the treasurer's office. They get mailed down to Des Moines.
And so that might be why they somehow switched the entity.
So state treasurer
Correct,
may
and there's
be-
no expiration. date.
But I think one of the plates, if I remember right, I think it was on, no, maybe it was on another person's county car. They were so faded, you could barely read them. I'll look at ours. I can't remember if it was ours or somebody else. That probably need a new plate anyway. So they don't go to the treasurer's office, they go to Des Moines. I'm gonna let our person who's handling all of the cars handle that, and he'll figure out what we need to do with them. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Julie.
do the office.
I have a meeting at 11, but I'm free until then.
Okay. That's the extent of the agenda. We move to public comment, and I'm gonna make a quick statement. I just got an email notification from John Klutzbaugh of the Bolton Journal. He's going to be retiring at the end of September. And he's gonna be greatly missed. But thank him for all of his contributions. So now, go ahead and ask. Open up public comment.
I'll go first. I know you're not going to talk about reports on the boards and commissions that you all sit on, but I was wondering if there's anything specific that's happened in the last, say, 30 days or so that any one of you supervisors feels is significant that the rest of us should know about. There could be nothing. It's summertime. There's not as much going on some of the boards and commissions but if there's anything that you are, just wanted to give us a chance to understand if there's something else going on.
My list's gonna wait until next week.
Well, and, okay, so I am gonna throw this out there because it's a shameless plug. Heartland Acres, who is trying to raise funds for repairing the roof, which is much needed. They have a golf tournament coming up and we're looking for 2 more sponsors per person, so that would be a lot of sponsors. So if anybody would like to sponsor that, it's say in the name of the seat that they're running for, perhaps, as far as city council or whatever, I believe it might be $200 or $250 per sponsorship. Or if anybody has a business. Don, can you help me out with this? When is that?
It is a week from this Wednesday. It's the
And-
26th, I believe.
Right, and so we'll need those sponsors to go in quickly
They're whole sponsors. They're $100
per hole.
per hole.
And I did contact John Blinn and told him that Getty was interested in doing one of the holes. So I don't know if that covers your 2, but that's one.
That's helpful. And that was my board.
Yeah, I think we covered it pretty extensively last week, but, you know, it is that time of year where a lot of these boards aren't meeting during the summer, so, which is always good. We'll have it on the agenda for next week if there's any updates.
I mean, this is also public comment time, so you could throw it in as a public comment, keep if you have something.
Yeah, it can wait till next week.
Mr. Tanaka,
Can I come forward?
you may.
Sorry.
Good time.
Thank you guys for the garbage disposal to Senior Citizen Center. Appreciate it.
Is it working?
It is. Now it's working fine.
Yes.
We have the Cattlemen's Association on the 18th of September. We're going to have ribeye sandwiches and hamburgers. And it is a free will offering.
So you need updated flyers for that.
Pardon?
You need updated flyers for me for that?
Yes.
Okay.
18th of September, it's on Thursday,
What are the hours for that, Don? You know?
11 to 1.
Thank you.
Be late, you'll be out of
Get
ribeye
there-
sandwiches.
Yeah,
Get there soon, like 11:05.
I went last year. It was awesome.
I went too late. I still got hamburger.
But there's
And
a
that's
bus.
the meal now. That's a potato salad, baked beans, and a dessert.
Anything else, Don?
Yes,
Okay,
just go ahead. Just go ahead.
okay. Anybody else back there?
Oh. 9/11 ceremony. And I don't know if this has to be an agenda item or not, so I'm notifying you so I can be on the agenda next week. We would like to have a 9/11 ceremony at the War Memorial. So if it has to be an agenda item, you have to, and I'll come back next Monday.
Is that for the VA,
Pardon?
is that for the Veterans Affairs or?
That's the VFW.
VFW is it?
We had one here last year.
Sure we get that on the agenda.
And I have a question for Chris.
Yeah.
To obtain the monies that was given to us by the Board of Supervisors for the Council on Aging.
And the letter.
And, anyways, and that's it.
Yep. Yep, doesn't have to be anything fancy.
No, no form to fill out.
Nope. Nope, because they've already approved the appropriation.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have.
Anyone else? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thanks, everybody, for your attention. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'll get you those flyers, within this, by the end of this week, probably by the end of the day.
Okay. That's